the White House in a month, he bears no sense of how to lead a superpower. Even the U.S. military. Trump's second tweet makes people worry that he will treat China-U.S. relations as child play. That's all in that tabloid. Let's go to Matt Rivers. He's live in Beijing. Hi, Matt.
Like the term steal, as it's entirely inaccurate.
The USNS Bowditch, an unarmed military research ship, was about 50 miles off the Filipino coast Thursday, where the Navy says it was conducting research using 2 underwater drones called ocean gliders. Officials said the research was legal under international law. It was set to bring them back on board when officials say a Chinese naval ship trailing the Bowditch launched a small boat which swooped in and stole one of the ocean gliders. The Defense Department says the Bowditch immediately made contact to ask for it back, but the Chinese ship simply sailed away. Friday, Pentagon officials asked again. Spokesman Captain Jeff Davis told reporters ministry responded late Saturday, saying that its ship initially didn't know what the drone was and seized it for navigational safety reasons. They went on to say, quote, upon confirming that the device was a U.S. underwater drone, the Chinese side decided to transfer it to the U.S. side in an appropriate manner. China and the United States have been communicating about this process. It is inappropriate and unhelpful for a resolution that the U.S. has unilaterally hyped the issue. We express our regret. Time of heightened U.S.-Chinese military tensions in the South China Sea. China has built and militarized artificial islands, and President-elect Trump has made Beijing angry twice in the last 2 weeks, first taking a call from Taiwan's president and then questioning the legitimacy of the One China policy, a decades-old diplomatic staple of U.S.-China relations. Matt Rivers, CNN, Beijing.
All right, so the Trump team appears to be vacillating somewhat on China policy. Trump talking tough in 140 characters on Twitter. But the RNC chair, Reince Priebus,
president right now, and he's respectful to the current president.
But Mr. Trump is acting as if he is president of the United States. He tweeted out that China should return that American drone. We just told you about that. And he save those jobs for Carrier in Indiana. So how is this affecting policy? Joining me now live from Washington is Greg Polling. He's the director. And you know, in regards to that drone, led to this editorial in a communist-controlled Chinese magazine. And I'll just read an excerpt for you. Quote, he bears no sense of how to lead a superpower. And the magazine goes on to say Trump appears to be emotionally upset. What do you make of that?
Well, I think whether or not it was kind of over-the-top rhetoric, Trump is right. China did steal this drone in international waters with absolutely no rationale behind it. And what we're seeing now is Beijing scrambling to find some way to explain this away.
So you have one part of America that says, go Donald Trump because you're getting tough on China, right? And then you have the other side who's kind of like apprehensive about how this will affect relations with China.
Yeah, I mean, look, we should be concerned about being overly confrontational with China. This is the most important bilateral relationship in the world, and will be for decades. But on this one specific issue, the South China Sea, there are enormous stakes. And for the U.S., this is not about the U.S. and China. This is about the entire international order, what China wants to do.
So Henry Kissinger might be right, because he said over the weekend that Trump is a phenomenon that foreign countries haven't seen, and that his style could be an extraordinary opportunity. So what do you suppose he means by that?
Well, opportunity in that this is certainly something different. I think it is, frankly, far too early to speculate on what a Donald Trump presidency is going to mean for U.S. policy in Asia or China. You know, the inconsistencies that we've heard, not just from the president-elect, from his team, and their own, internally, the differing perspectives that many members that have been appointed to the cabinet or are going to be appointed to the cabinet have.
I guess I'm still like struggling to understand extraordinary opportunity. So we know that Russia and China are allies, right? And we know that Donald Trump wants to improve relations with Russia, but he said nothing like that.
More strident approach toward China. Certainly in his rhetoric, than he has toward Russia. Part of that might be a reflection of his domestic priorities, vis-a-vis trade, the perception that China is somehow unfair to the U.S. economically in a way that Russia is not, at least in his mind. To me, and I think to most people.
All right, I have to leave it there. Greg Polling, thanks so much for being with me this morning. Still to come in the newsroom, Trump's team has a message for intelligence agencies. If you got proof of a Russian hacking, stop the leaks and make it public. That story's next.
Choose to go, to indulge your curiosity. Explore a new road to see where it takes you. Meet the leaders who change the game. No matter where you are, no matter what the currency, when you run the numbers, they may surprise you, but stay your course. You're on the path to success.
What's it like off lust? Against the odds? Can cops still fight crime? This is life.
Senator John McCain issued a stark warning over Russian hacking democracy. This is what he told Jake Tapper on State of the Union.
The question now is how much and what damage and what should the United States of America do. And so far, we've been totally paralyzed. This is serious business. If they're able to harm the electoral process, then they destroy democracy, which is based on free and fair elections.
In the meantime, Russia continues to deny that it messed with American elections. Donald Trump and his team continue to deny intelligence reports indicating that Russia did in fact meddle. Trump's chief of staff telling Fox News that they'll believe it when the CIA and the FBI come forward with public reports.
I think he would accept the conclusion if these intelligence professionals would get together, put out a report, show the American people that they're actually on the same page. If there is this conclusive opinion among of these intelligence agencies, then they should camera and make the case.
So let's talk about that now. I'm joined by
start politicizing our intelligence community. You know, this is something very, very serious. And I agree with Senator McCain that this is something very serious. And I also think come together and are sure of what intelligence they be undermined by anybody. And so I think this is something very serious. I think that
there's no disagreement that the FBI motive maybe is still out there, but of course the Donald Trump's
as of November 17th, Jim Clapper testified before the House was. You know, this is something that's being investigated. I think it should be investigated, but I think we can't lose sight of the fact that out of 3,141,
Senator John McCain
well, I'm not
concerned
either.
Because there is evidence that Russia meddled in the American